Hello you sex beasts and welcome back to War Thunder. As per popular request, we are continuing to review the new vehicles of patch 1.67 and we are kind of running out of them, which is why we are now taking a look at the Type 60 ATM. The Type 60 ATM is Japan's first and only ATGM tanks, as you can see by these big missiles in the back. Additional armament consists of a Browning M2 heavy machine gun mounted on the top and a 7.62mm machine gun mounted in the hull. Now, armor with this tank is pretty much non-existent. At best you have 20mm of armor. In fact, this is so bad that you might maybe be able to resist 50 caliber fire from longer ranges, but the point blank or, well, if you face anything Russian with the with their 12.7s or their 14.5mm machine guns, yeah, they will cut straight through you, especially through the side which is only half an inch thick. Now, interestingly enough, with a tank with so little armor, it actually has a lot of crew. It has a lot of 5. And the layout is rather interesting and is something that I want you to take a look at. Stuff like the Raketenjagdpanzer, for example, only has the 3 crew in the front, or the 4 crew in the front, and generally gets one shot by whatever hits it, because all the crew is very compacted in the front, right? Well, this tank is a little bit different. It has the 3 crew in the front, being the gunner, the commander, and the driver. Then it has a massive engine block and transmission block which can effectively soak up shrapnel, and only then do you have 2 loaders in the back. What this means is that in most cases you should be able to resist 1 shot. That being said, there are massive rockets right in front of the loaders, which if they hit the left side might go off. And of course, once your gunner and your driver is down, you're essentially just sitting there like a sitting duck. It's not like you can shoot back with the loaders. Now let's talk a little bit about the main, well, supposed selling point of this tank, but at the same time, not really. The Type 64 ATGM anti-tank guided missile, if you didn't know what the acronym stands for. In realistic mode, this thing is hands aimed, or well, translated in the gaming terms, you have to control this thing with your keyboard. ATGMs controlled with keyboards are pretty hard to use in most cases. It's not quite as easy as simply pointing your mouse somewhere and having the rocket follow it automatically. Now the ATGM does have a pretty nice penetration value, 500mm at all ranges, acting essentially like a HEATFS shell. In fact, you should be able to even go through mouses in most cases. The problem is, and honestly I'm not quite sure if this is a negative or a benefit, the velocity of this ATGM is 85 meters per second. You heard that right. This is the slowest projectile in War Thunder at the moment, I'm pretty damn sure. Nothing is slower than this. In fact, just to give you a perspective of how slow this thing really is, 85 meters per second is 306 kilometers per hour. You can almost outrun this thing with a PO2. Okay, not quite a PO2, but most aircraft in the game can literally outrun this thing like by 2 or 3 times. Not to mention real life cars are faster than this missile. And just to give you even more of a perspective, that N26 is about 1.2 kilometers away. I'm now going to show you raw footage of how long it takes. This is not edited, this is not slowed down. This is how long it takes for the ATGM to get there. Now, credit where credit is due, you can fire these ATGMs from cover. That is a good thing. You can completely hide your hull and still be able to aim those ATGMs since the optics are mounted up here. And of course, there's a left 50 cal that you can also use from cover, which is great. Well, the problem is you only get 6 of them. All these that you see, the 2 in the launcher and the 4 inside of the tank, that's all you get. Now in arcade mode, you can actually reload the ATGMs mid-combat. You don't have to go to a capture zone. In realistic mode, however, this is not the case. Once you fire your 6 shots, you are out. And you're not exactly going to fight against Russian top tier tanks with your 50 caliber machine gun. So is the mobility at least good? Well, the tank is pretty light at only 12 tons and it does have a 220 horsepower engine, which gives it over a 10 horsepower per ton part weight ratio. So it's not the most sluggish around when it comes to acceleration. Problem is it only has 38 km per hour top speed. And yes, this is fully upgraded. So No, it isn't particularly fast either. Okay guys, I'm going to be honest with you, whatever you see next, the gameplay you see next is pretty much going to be first impressions. So don't get all mad, all you Type 60 ATM mains, although who would really want to main this thing? I'm going to refrain from calling this thing bad, but let's be honest here. This tank, the only reason this tank is in the game is so that Japan players cannot complain about not having ATGMs. This is literally the only reason. So, without further ado, let's see if we can actually get a single kill in this thing. Alright, we are in Sinai. Actually a pretty good map for this kind of tank. We have a massive flat open area in the middle, and we can use these hills here to simply hide our hull. Now, the Type 60 is, as I said, pretty weird. I pretty much talk about everything that I think is weird about this tank in the Hangar review. Now, one thing I didn't quite mention is, yes, which is actually touched on the point of why I thought this thing was, or where I wasn't really sure if the absolutely horrible speed of these rockets is a good or a bad thing. Being that the ATGMs are hand-aimed, the slow muzzle velocity actually helps you in making your shots more accurate. It's less likely that you're going to overshoot your rockets. At the same time, however, this also means that the enemy can very easily evade any rockets you fire at them. And given that you only have 6 shots, if you don't put your rocket in perfectly into a ammo rack or something like that, chances are you're going to waste more than 2 shots per enemy, which is less than ideal, let's just say. When you have only 6 rockets at your disposal, you don't exactly want to be wasting more than 1 shot per enemy, right? Alright, I can see an enemy over there. Nothing else so far. I do not want to expose myself too much, that's the only thing. Now I have to be honest with you guys, I am not very experienced in taking overhill shots with mouse-aimed ATGMs. Actually, hand-aimed ATGMs. So, whilst I could attempt to fire over the rock and hit the tank from above, I'm not really going to risk that, because I don't have enough rockets to really attempt any fancy maneuvers in this thing. And I would like for some enemies to actually go out here in the middle, but it doesn't seem like they want to. Which is kind of annoying to me. Let's advance a little bit, see if we can find something. There's a tank. Alright, we have a target. We have a target. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Fire. Now let's count down the time it takes for the shell to go in. We actually hit that. Also, I completely missed, but Alteria apparently killed our loaders in the back. Oh god. So, oh god, what is hitting us? No, seriously, what the fuck is hitting us? What the fuck? I'm not quite sure what that was supposed to be, but something really just wrecked us from the side here. Can see a tank over there. Can we fire? Come on, can we fire? I don't think we can fire right now. Why can't we fire? Game? Hello? Hello? We have missiles. Can we fire, please? This is the problem. These rockets are so slow, and being ATGMs, they are also very visible. No, seriously, we cannot fire. What the? Oh. What the fuck is going on? We cannot fire. Why can't we fire? Our gunner isn't down. Our launching system isn't down. Why can't we fire? Seriously, we cannot fire at that guy. You can fire the MGs, but not the rockets. You can hear me furiously clicking the fire button, but it's not working. We cannot fire the missiles. Okay, let's try one more game, just in case. That might have been a fluke, but if my theory is correct, this thing is even worse than I thought it was. Because even though our launching system was repaired, it wasn't even damaged in the first place. Our launching system was repaired, our gunner was alive, we had missiles in the tubes. We could not fire those missiles after we took damage. Alright, we are set up in a nice little spot over here. Kind of overlooking the enemy spawn. My objective here is not really to spawn camp, but to intercept anyone trying to go this way. Now this seems pretty hard to actually get this thing into a position where you can actually still see over cover, but without exposing too much of your tank. Also, trying to see enemies, but I can't see anything. Let's... fuck it, let's try and risk it, go a little bit forward. Honestly, the only thing I want to do in this video is get one single kill. Like, I'm already expecting not getting any kills with this thing. Here's the problem with the ATGMs. At least these ones. You saw us even hit the, I think there was a Conqueror or something like that. Conqueror or Chieftain. Earlier in the past gameplay. Okay, given we hit him in the engine, but that's the problem. When you don't perfectly hit anything with your ATGM, and you only have 6 rounds, your potential is very, very limited. There's only so much you can do with 6 shots, and if you take more than 2 to do with a single enemy, well, you're out of luck. Especially in game modes like, for example, Battle, where the only capture zone... It's not Battle, you do have the friendly battle in there. But game modes like Domination, where you have to actively advance, cap a zone, to be able to, well, reload. And even then you have to wait in the capture zone for quite a while. Given that this thing is actually rather tall and very easy to spot, I mean this thing is a huge box essentially, with 2 ears sticking out on the top. Good luck actually trying to carry games with this thing, you're not going to be able to. This is really just, as I said in the Hangar review, this is just an excuse so that the Japanese players cannot complain about not having ATGMs. That's the only function of this tank, because in every single other way, other than having a 50 cal on top, which I do appreciate, the 50 cal can help against certain situations. But against mostly everything else, this ATGM is quite possibly the worst of the bunch. It doesn't really have anything going. Okay, we are done. Interestingly, we survived a convoy. Although maybe we can... Oh yeah, I forgot! Right. You cannot fire your ATGMs when you take damage, right? Yeah, great. Just ignore me. I don't exist. I don't exist. You don't see me. Actually, I think he doesn't see me. Oh, he just see me. And I'm down. Alright, lads. Real talk. Dislike this video right now. I know the gameplay was shit, but honestly I just refuse playing this thing any longer. Compared to every other ATGM that I can think of. Maybe except for the swing fire, although the swing fire can at least still fire when it takes damage. Compared to everything else, this thing doesn't really have anything going for it. The only positives I can think about in this tank is having the 50 cal on top and being able to survive a first shot, given that you have so much crew. But given that you cannot fire your 50 cal after the first shot, and you cannot even fire your missiles after taking damage for the first shot, this tank, literally the only use this tank has is target practice. It's literally just something to distract your enemy and make them waste a shot into you instead of your friendly leopard, for example. That seems to be the only use this thing has. It's ridiculously bad. I know I said at the start of this video that I wasn't going to call this thing bad, but come on, this thing is just rubbish. Anyways, lads, if you want to play this thing, do be my guest, like honestly. I'm not even going to challenge you guys because I already know you guys are freaking awesome and we have some very good players amongst my audience which can make tanks like this work. But honestly, how can something be so ridiculously bad? Like I thought the SU-51 was bad because it didn't have much ammo, right? But at least you could kill things with that. At least the cannon was good. You didn't have much ammo for the cannon, but still 8 shots. Which are potentially 8 one-shot kills. You only get 6 missiles with this thing. As soon as you take damage, you cannot fire those missiles anymore. The missiles are extremely slow and they are keyboard aimed. Like honestly, what are you supposed to do with this thing? You guys tell me in the comment section down below if I'm completely wrong. I can already see the shitstorm happening. It's every single time I call a tank bad, there's just some fanboys. Okay, not quite fanboys. Let's just say very dedicated people who call me shit, who call me out because I dare to call their favorite tank bad. But honestly, I'm really interested to see what kind of points people can make for this. piece of crap. Alright. Anyways, lads, dislike this video. Just go ahead, just dislike it. I don't even care anymore. Just dislike this video. I'm going to see if I can actually make a second video today because I don't feel satisfied with this. I wanted to make a good video. This thing doesn't let me. I'm sorry. Screw this thing. I'm going to make another video at the same time to at least compensate for the shitty gameplay that it was. I don't know, just I'll see you next time. My name is MikeGoesBoom, and as always, thanks for watching.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find